Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining our webinar for Project Mesquite New Works. I am Eureka, joined by Gabriela, and we are both Grants and Service Managers for Arts Foundation for Tucson and Southern Arizona. At this time, I would like to introduce, myself and take a moment, if you could take a moment and write your name in the chat, your preferred pronouns, and where you are joining us. I am Eureka Isoe. I am representing Arts Foundation for Tucson and Southern Arizona. I use she, her pronouns, and I am joining each day from Tucson, Arizona on Tohono O'odham land. In today's webinar, we will learn more about new works, eligibility, application overview, review criteria in which your application would be judged by the group of panels, technical assistance that's available, and at the end, we will have some time for questions and answers. So about Project Mesquite New Works. The New Works Artist Project Grant seeks to support the depth and breadth of innovative new artwork created and produced in the city of Tucson and Pima County. The grant program supports individual artist projects that meet the highest standards of excellence across a diverse spectrum of artistic discipline and cultural expressions. Proposed projects must include a production of new artwork, an original that showcases an original and imaginative approach to content and form with a public presentation of work. This will be on an application timeline of all applications needing to be due on Tuesday, March 28th, midnight. Currently, we are accepting applications. It'll be reviewed through March 29th to April 25th, and we hope to get notification materials to you May 1st, but this is all subject to change depending on the volume of applications we receive. The funding period, which means when the project will take place, is between June 1st of this year to June 1st of next year, with the final report due July 1st to close out your report. The eligible expenses for this grant is all project-related expenses, including supplies, artist fees, honorarium, and contractors. Artist fees being the time that you take to work on this project, which you can be compensated for. Now we'll go over the eligibility to apply for this grant. So you must be a working artist in any arts and culture discipline. You must reside within City of South Tucson, Pima County, Pasquayaki Reservation, or the Tohono O'odham Nation. And this is unfortunately strictly within the city limits, or the limits of Pima County and the Indian reservations. So grantees will be required to complete a W-9, and you'll be responsible for financial reporting on this grant fund. You'll be required to submit a brief final report 30 days after the funding period that documents your expenses and provides a description of the programming that you performed. You'll also be required to premiere the new work during the time frame of the funding period, and it can be a work in progress. So you do not have to complete a finalized new work, but you would have to complete something. You would have to present something, even if it's a work in progress. The public presentation of the new work must premiere within Pima County limits or be virtually accessible to Pima County residents. And as stated before, the funding period takes place between June 1st of this year to June 1st of the next. Collaborative projects submitted by a group of individual artists are permitted. With the collaborators, you are considered the co-owner of the project and be a generative part of the team and not a contractor. So there's different requirements if you are collaborating. The artist and or collaborator can apply for one project. And now we'll go through the application and what that consists of. So the section 1 is the eligibility. If you are eligible, then you'll be moved to complete all of the rest of the application. Section 2 is the applicant profile. Section 3 is the artistic practice. Section 4, submission material. Section 5, demographic data. Section 6 is disclosure and signature. We'll be diving deeper into the submission materials now, since this is the bulk of the application. So what's in the submission materials? So this comprises of the narrative questions, the work samples, the professional resume or bio, the budget form, and additional support materials for collaborative projects. So if you do not have a collaborative project, you are not going to be filling out the last submission material. The first submission material is a narrative questions. You'll be submitting your response to narrative questions through writing or video submissions in English or Spanish to help the panel better understand your project. The maximum length for a written submission is 750 words, and if it's a video, it's no longer than 7 minutes. Or sorry, no longer than 4 minutes. Video submissions won't be judged on the quality of the production of the video, so feel free to pull up your camera phone, switch on your webcam and record. You can upload the video directly or use a URL. So now let's look into the questions of the narrative questions. The first is describe the new work you propose to create with the grant funds. What are your specific proposed activities? Number 2, how does this proposal relate to the work that you currently do? Number 3, how would receiving this fund deepen your overall artistic practice? And question 4 is describe how you will premiere the artwork during the funding period. And as stated, it can be complete state or work in progress. So after you answer the narrative questions, you'll be submitting your professional resume or bio. This is a great section to introduce yourself to the panelists and your experience. This is either through an upload or a link. Then the work samples. The work sample is a place to showcase your skills, finished products, and experience that you might have. Depending on your artistic discipline, there are various types of work samples we accept. We ask that you stay within the guidelines to make sure that we have a uniform process for the panelists. You'll either be submitting a 3-minute recorded video, 3-minute recorded audio, or 3-minute recorded video, 6 images, 3 to 5 poems, or a maximum of 5 pages in double space text, or a combination of materials, depending on what you feel would best represent your practice. After the work samples, we'll go into the budget, and this is a budget form that includes an itemized breakdown of the project-related expenses and indicating the total grant amount that you are requesting. And for those who have collaborative projects, you will be submitting a collaboration verification either through contact information or uploading a letter of consent from each of the collaborators. You'll also be submitting your collaborator's bio and the collaborator's work samples. And how to apply. Applications are accepted in 2 formats. Online submissions are accepted in both Spanish and English through Submittable, our grant portal, and you will need to create a login with an email to fill out the application on either desktop or mobile. Call-in applications are available to those with limited broadband access, and you will sign up for an interview with a grants and service manager to answer the application questions over the phone, and we will help you put together your application. And at this time, I'll exit out of the presentation and take you to our grants landing page so I can show you how to get into the Submittable. One moment. So this is the landing page for Project Mesquite New Works. You will click on the guidelines. And you will see this, and you can either click the submission link or click apply here. And this will take you to our Arts Foundation submittable portal, which contains all of our active applications right now. You can see some public art, some programs, and these are some grants. So you would want to go to New Works for this. And you'll get this. This is all your submittable information. And then when you go here, you'll be able to fill out your eligibility questions. And then after that, you'll hit next, and then the full application will be available if you are eligible to apply. Now I'm going to go back to my presentation. Review criteria. And this is the review criteria that the panel will be assessing your application. Arts Foundation has a participatory review process in which community members are nominated and trained to review and score applications. Materials will be assessed based on eligibility, completeness, and clarity based on the published review criteria that I have up right now. Panel recommendations will be submitted to the Arts Foundation's Board of Directors for formal approval and authorization. And as staff, we are not involved in the selection process. So we are here to help you get your application together and support you when the results come out. So here we are. We have 3 review criteria up on the screen, and these are the following will be considered for your review. Artistic excellence is defined as applicant demonstrates the skill and techniques relevant to carry out the new work project. Idea. The next is idea. The proposed project is original and imaginative in its approach and to content and form. Next is capacity. Capacity to successfully complete project is shown through past experience, related projects, or appropriate work samples. And the applicant has a reasonable budget for the scope of the project. And now our last section is technical assistance and how we are here to help you get through the grant writing process. So for technical assistance, we have 3 methods of support. The first is individual technical assistance. This is a one-on-one call with us to discuss your ideas and speak with a team member if the project is appropriate for the guidelines, and we'll talk you through your idea and flesh out some of the responses and how you should be thinking about the narrative questions. The second support system that we have is grant coaching, and we'll be reviewing your draft application. So this is a great option for those who have a draft and have fleshed out your ideas, and you need extra support to pull this together. The last is call-in applications for those who may not have access to a computer or need support articulating and transcribing ideas. Give us a call and we'll go through the narrative questions over phone, and we'll be transcribing and assisting you to put your application together. And at this time, this concludes my presentation, so I'll stop sharing and open the floor for questions.